Jersey Mike's Month of Giving, raising charity and raising money for over 200 charities across America. Go to your local Jersey Mike's store or just go to jerseymikes.com. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. Albert Breer, late notice. Monday Morning Quarterback is now joining us live. What a chaotic, fun last half hour. So the Dolphins trade. They go from, their spot was San Francisco. They trade back, and then they trade back up. So let's do this from the Miami perspective. So Miami's got that 3 pick. They move down basically saying, hey, we're going to stick with Tua. We're not going to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks. That's what it tells me. Then they move back up to 6. And you know what that tells me, Albert? They either have a receiver or an offensive lineman they like. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah. And the beauty of it to me and the genius of it is that by making the 2 trades, the first half of it ensures that another position player is going to fall to them, right? Because now you've locked in that the top 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks, maybe the top 4.
Yeah.
That necessarily means maybe a Jamar Chase, maybe a Penei Sewell. One of those sorts of guys, a Kyle Pitts, is going to fall into your lap at number 6, and you're going to be able to get Tua some help. And so not only did you get all the capital that you got back for the number 3 pick, you're also able to get back up to number 6 and force the process in a way where the quarterbacks are going to go at the top and a position player that you like is going to fall in your lap.
Okay, now let's go to the San Francisco perspective. You know this well. When I keep hearing leaks from a team, a lot of times that team wants stuff out there to awaken the market to we're ready to make a move. Yep. So I'm not shocked San Francisco made a move. I thought Sam Darnold was a possibility, but I'll throw this at you. When they made that Trent Williams deal, Albert, and I started looking at the Armstead deal and the Trent Williams and Kittle and then Bosa and then the fullback, and I thought to myself, boy, they got to get cheap at quarterback. They got to get on a rookie quarter. So the Trent Williams deal felt like, I think we said it on the air, it's like they can't pay $28 million for a quarterback, right?
Yeah, I mean, they probably could this year. It'll start to catch up with them as some of those numbers rise. I mean, you don't know, too. They've got some young players they like, Nick Bosa, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, that maybe they have to pay eventually, too, and so their core is going to get expensive. And I think what the deal up for San Francisco is an acknowledgement, like, we're ready to take our big swing because we really don't need premium players anymore. We've got our core in place. We're going to be putting role players on our roster from here on out. And we really like the quarterback class. So let's go up and take our swing now. And I've told you this from the start, Colin. They were not moving off of Jimmy Garoppolo unless there was a clear upgrade out there for them. And, I think over the last few weeks, they probably looked at Justin Fields and Trey Lance and Zach Wilson and said, you know what? These three guys are a clear upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo. And so, you combine the financial part of it, which, like you said, there's going to be benefit to having a cheaper quarterback on the roster so they can keep their core intact. And then sort of what they thought about the young quarterback class, you add one to the other, and it's okay. The clear upgrade is here for us for Jimmy Garoppolo. It's going to help us keep our team together. Makes all the sense in the world, especially because we're not going to need those first-round picks down the line to add more star players. We can focus more on putting role players around what we already have.
By the way, Albert, Arizona was aggressive. The Rams were aggressive. The Seahawks aggressive. I mean, it feels like SEC football. Like, you just have to keep up, right? Like, San Francisco's got to keep up.
Yeah, here's an amazing fact, Colin. The Arizona Cardinals are the only team in the NFC West that currently has a 2022 first-round pick. The Seahawks traded theirs for Jamal Adams. The Niners have traded theirs in this deal. And, of course, the Rams traded theirs as part of the deal for Matthew Stafford. And so there's no question. You look at it, there's a big-time arms race going on. And I think the Rams sort of have set the tone for this for a few years now, the aggression with which they built their roster. San Francisco's in the Super Bowl a year ago. They, on paper, at least should be a lot healthier than they were last year. I think some people in Arizona are going to be fighting for their jobs in the fall. And, of course, the Seahawks, you have the urgency that's been placed on the organization by Russell Wilson. There's no question. I mean, I guess tension would be the right word, right? In the NFC West right now. It seems like there's a lot of tension in the NFC West to try and win in 2021.
Yeah, it's amazing. Cincinnati's history is they don't make deals. And it's like, okay, well, Miami does and San Francisco does and the Rams do. And it's this new world of young GMs. You got a lot of movers and shakers. Now we talked about San Francisco, Miami. Let's go to the Philadelphia perspective. What this tells me moving out of the 6 to the 12 is, listen, we got a lot of needs, and we're going to stick with Jalen Hurts for a year. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, and add into that the fact that they built a layer of depth on their roster by adding Joe Flacco this week. I really look at where they are, and I think there is an acknowledgement there. We have some work to do in building the roster up. Now, they very much looked at this quarterback class. I mean, don't get that part of it mixed up. Their offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach were at North Dakota State. They were at Alabama to watch Mac Jones. And they're also there at BYU today to go and watch Zach Wilson. And so they very much kicked the tires on this year's quarterback class. I think there's an acknowledgement that they have to turn the page in that organization. The roster got old and it got expensive in a hurry. Sort of the same way New England's roster got old and expensive over the last couple of years because of some of the cap ramifications of the last couple of years. They're going to be taking some of that on in 2021. They've obviously had to make some moves to get under the cap to begin with. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's part of this that's like, let's go take a look at Jalen Hurts, what we have. We already sunk a year into him. But I also think there's, an acknowledgement that they need a lot more than just a young quarterback. And by the way, Colin, you look at the roster right now, might not be the healthiest situation for a young quarterback to enter into anyway. Yeah. So they'll get their evaluation of Jalen Hurts in 2021. Then, of course, they've got some firepower now in 2022 if they want to make a move up for a quarterback or if they have a very high pick to begin with next April.
Boy, this just blew up everybody's mock draft.
Yeah, it did mine.
By the way, we got a minute left, just a minute left. Garoppolo Niners rumors. You make anything of it today?
I think look, you never say never, right? I think the Niners' plan is to stick with Jimmy Garoppolo. But if they get an offer that blows them away, if they're able to get back maybe, what they gave up for Garoppolo in the first place, would they do that? Yeah, I mean, I think they would think about that. Now, ideally, I think they'd rather go forward with Jimmy Garoppolo as their starting quarterback, if there isn't that sort of offer out there. Because remember this, Colin, when they traded for Jimmy Garoppolo in 2017, right? Do you remember what they did?
No.
They sat him for a month. They sat him for a full month because Kyle Shanahan didn't want to roll Jimmy Garoppolo out there before he knew his offense. So would he be willing to do that with a rookie? Would he be willing to kind of stake a championship team to a rookie? Evidence tells us, having seen how he handled Jimmy Garoppolo, that he might not want to do that. And so I think absent a really good return, I can see why they would, might look at it and say, let's hang on to Jimmy Garoppolo for a year. And if he plays really well, you know what? Now his value is enhanced and we can move him for something good in 2022.
Albert Breer, Monday morning quarterback. Good stuff today. Wow. That's funny. You just released your mock draft, so you got to go back.
Back to the drawing board.
I think I'm going to do one to start next hour. Good stuff, Albert. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Colin.
Hustler Turf Equipment, most complete lineup of residential and commercial zero-turn lawnmowers in America. They have 1,000 dealers, over 1,000 dealers nationwide. Hustler Turf. Visit hustlerturf.com, hustlerturf.com. They know their mowers. You know what I want to do? What I want to do, guys, back in the control room, I want to start next hour. I want to do my mock draft for my first 12 picks. We're just going to do a mock draft. So let's clean up a board top of next hour. So we got all this movement around. Let's just do it. Now let's do another mock draft. That's why you can't do mock drafts.
It might not be done.
Oh, I don't think it is done. So I want to start next hour. We're just going to roll through it, Joy. We're just going to pick. We're going to talk our way through.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So you guys in the back, the graphics department, the video department, just get a big clean slate of the top 12 picks, and you can just type them in. You just type them in as we go. But
I think it's more complicated than that.
I'm going to do a live mock draft.
Here we go, guys.
I'm producing the show. I'm doing graphics, designing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So listen, I will